Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for tuning into today's interview. I am Michelle Byerly with the Nonprofit Partnership, welcoming you to another one of our interview series, Our Stories, Our Time. In this series, we interview nonprofit leaders to learn more about the nonprofit sector and the impactful work in community. And we also learn how organizations are navigating through changing times, what success looks like, what are some of the opportunities and challenges, and a little bit more about those who lead these organizations and programs in the community. Before I introduce today's guest, the Nonprofit Partnership wants to thank the Port of Long Beach for their generous and ongoing support of our series and all of the wonderful nonprofits in the community. And with that, I would love to introduce Matt Guardabascio, campaign manager of Long Beach Gives. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. And I'm also going to say thank you to the Port. They're one of our sponsors as well here at Long Beach Gives. And I think they generate, I did the numbers and I can't remember exactly, but it was like over 60%, I think, of the nonprofits that are participating in Long Beach Gives receive some of that Port dollar. So it was a lot of connections there with what we're doing too. And it's great to see them being such a big role in the philanthropic picture of this city.
That's amazing. Thank you. And thank you to the Port. I echo that. And so as we jump in, Matt is here representing Long Beach Gives as the campaign manager, the leader, the cheerleader, the convener for all of the nonprofits and the businesses that support Long Beach Gives. But we want to know a little bit about you to start. So if you can start by just telling us when you began working in the nonprofit sector and what led you to Long Beach Gives.
Yeah, so first I working professionally was 2017, but I had volunteered and interacted a lot with nonprofits throughout the course of my life, especially growing up in Long Beach with so many wonderful nonprofits. But yeah, I started in 2017 formally working for the Long Beach City College Foundation and learned about Long Beach Gives really kind of as it was being created in its first years. And when the opportunity came to join this team and kind of make an impact across the entire city, I jumped on it. It was kind of a dream come true. So
that's great. And we are so happy to have you as part of the steering committee for Long Beach Gives. It's so great to have someone so in love with Long Beach, like the rest of us, leading that charge. And so let's, hear a little bit more about Long Beach Gives for those of you out there who are listening who don't know about Long Beach Gives. Why was Long Beach Gives founded? And tell us a little bit about that origin story.
Yeah, and so we're really, I think we're really interesting and have a very unique kind of origin story in the world of giving days. A lot of giving days, the biggest of them being Giving Tuesday, are really founded around this idea of just increasing generosity and kind of providing a platform and a space for that. And one of the things that I really, really, really love about Long Beach Gives is that in addition to that incredible, kind of huge picture, I mean, that's a vision statement, right? It's like we want the entire world to be engaging in philanthropy and doing good. But from a very practical business standpoint, our founders are funders. Our founders are the nonprofits and the foundations that support the work of nonprofits in our city. And they realized that there were fewer and fewer, a smaller and smaller percentage of nonprofits' operating budgets was coming from individual donations. And so it was a collective effort led by the Gumbiner Foundation. TNP, you guys were there at the beginning and helping to lead that drive as well, but also the Miller and Munzer Foundations, and really a lot of those family funders in the city looked at it and said, we need to invest some dollars and create a space for people to learn about nonprofits and to be able to easily support so that we can get new individual donors in and supporting these nonprofits.
That's you took the words out of my mouth if I were to say it, and so tell me a little bit about who the nonprofits are. So who participates in Long Beach Gives? Who's participating this year? What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things that I love about Long Beach Gives is when we're looking at who participates each year, it's eligibility. We have not had to turn anybody away in terms of a capacity standpoint. Like, the only nonprofits that haven't been able to participate are those that just aren't quite ready yet because they haven't hit that like 2 years of delivering program services, or they're not delivering services within the city. So the 240 nonprofits that are participating in this year's campaign, every single one of them is either housed in the city of Long Beach or is operating services and doing programming within the city. And so really it's kind of a who's who of the nonprofits. We've got, I think, about a third of our nonprofits are kind of smaller organizations. We look at those as usually they're one or no paid staff. And then we have kind of our mid-sized organizations, and then about a third of the nonprofits are those larger organizations, the one that are maybe a national organization, but have a local presence and are doing direct services here in Long Beach, Goodwill being one of those, among others. We have a lot, 240.
And in that, I think, and you can remind me of the number, there's so many service areas for nonprofits and the type of work they're doing. And you just talked about the size of nonprofits, from our huge organizations to the small organizations. What are some of those service areas that their nonprofits are hitting in Long Beach Gives?
Yeah, and so we've broken it down into 16, and I won't read the full list. You can find that at longbeachgives.org. But I mean, it's we're looking at animals, we're looking at social justice organizations, there's educational nonprofits, really any kind of, we tried to break it down into the kind of clear natural subsets of the work that's being done. And we have representation in all 16 of these cause categories. And we try to make it very easy for people to make a very specific impact within the city. So if your passion is animals, and you love our little furry friends, or not furry, because I guess there are hairless animals as well. You can put your dollars in there, and you can have very specific impact within that very narrow kind of cause category as well. So it's really, I think, pretty special to get into you can have it be very focused in as far as how you're supporting when you're looking at these organizations.
Great. So over the years, you've talked about the nonprofits that have been a part of Long Beach Gives, and how much funds have been raised. And then if I'm a donor, how do I give, and when is Long Beach Gives happening this year? What are all those details?
Yeah. So this is going to be our 5th campaign. And I'm incredibly excited. Like, when I read the number, it always, like, people's eyes kind of pop, because they don't really realize just how significant the impact our community is making. $6.6 million in 4 years, in 4 campaigns. So we're just incredible movement, and incredible platform where the city really has stepped up these past 4 years, and it's pretty remarkable. I think we've had a total of about 275 nonprofits throughout the course of our campaigns participate, and that's just, I mean, it's much needed, and especially during the pandemic, it's just incredible support that was being provided directly to the nonprofits. This year, Long Beach Gives is on September 21st. That is a Thursday. Go ahead and mark that in your calendars now if you haven't already done it. The early giving period will open on September 14th. So early giving is that's when those donate buttons will go live on the website. Again, that website is longbeachgives.org. And yeah, we encourage you can sign up on our website to receive email notifications when that giving is live. You'll see us in the paper, you'll see us around town. Like, we do a lot of advertising just to try and help people realize that now's the time to act. And if you're already giving to nonprofits, there's a very strong likelihood that you'll hear it from at least one of our participating nonprofits as well.
That's great. And I think that what I love about Long Beach Gives is it makes it easy for the community to donate to nonprofits all in one spot. I know we've had donors and volunteers go on to give to our organization and then donate to a few others because they're on the site and they can see all of the mission statements and all of the impact of the other organizations. And so it's really like a fun shopping experience, and also you're giving back to your community in a very easy way.
Yeah.
And
Do you mind
so
if I actually jump in real quick right
go
there?
ahead.
When you mentioned the shopping experience, I mean, that's really what we strive for. It's to make it easy and seamless. So we actually have like a shopping cart function to make it easier to give. So you don't have to do a single donation. Like if I were to give to the nonprofit partnership, I wouldn't have to check out and then have another separate transaction if I wanted to give to Long Beach Gives. This is a platform where you can, we have 240 nonprofits. If you wanted to give to all 240 of them, you could do so, and it would be one transaction. So you're not having to, go through the hassle of re-entering all of your contact and credit card information or any of that stuff. It's just that one easy transaction, and you get to make a huge impact across the city.
That's my favorite part. And so I do want to talk a little bit about how the campaign has evolved in the last 5 years, and starting with, I know, a smaller group of nonprofits and building that base and the awareness of the campaign. And I know that this year, and it's not too late for businesses to get involved, but this year we're really focusing on how to get the business community involved. They've been involved along the way, but really making this a community driven effort. And so what are some of those things you're excited about in 2023's campaign about that community involvement?
Yeah, so the campaign has definitely evolved. We are no longer solely funded by the nonprofits that are funding nonprofits and that work already. We have, I think last year we grew to over 100 business partners and sponsors. So we were in restaurants and mom and pop shops. We had little table tents. We were getting the word out very kind of in that grassroots sort of scale. And then we're also looking to some of the larger employers and bigger businesses within the city. And they're stepping up, which is really incredible.
Sorry, my lights went
out. Last year we had a first for us, Farmers and Merchants Bank, who's been a sponsor since the beginning. They're sponsoring again in this year's campaign. Last year, Farmers and Merchants made a contribution to every single one of the 232 participating nonprofits, which was huge. I mean, that was the first time that we'd ever had one of our business partners really step up in that space. So we're looking to expand on that and kind of elevate them and give them that platform to share why they engage, because it is worthwhile. And I think especially for businesses that are benefiting from our city and from the people who live here, and the resources that we have, right? We have a port, right? We have this incredible airport that we have access to. We're a great hub city, right? And so being able to, benefit from that as a business, it's great to be able to provide a place where they can support the entire city and create professional development opportunities and capacity building opportunities for an entire sector by supporting Long Beach Gives. So
that's great. And so I heard that you had 100 business partners. So anything from funding the actual campaign itself to just sharing and building awareness by putting up signs in their businesses or tent cards. So businesses out there, if you're in Long Beach and you want to support nonprofits in the city, that's an easy way to get involved. And I also want to hear about, I know part of the big success and why these giving days are successful are the individual fundraisers that are contributing and helping to build awareness and raise money for each of those nonprofits. Can you talk about how individuals have contributed to the campaign?
yeah, and really this is a campaign of individuals. I mean, it's last year we raised $1.96 million. And that was like 9,000 people that got together, not, in one single space, but decided, hey, we want to make a difference. We want to have an impact and drive growth in programming and services and in this nonprofit sector in our city. And so it really is, it's a lot of effort, a lot of people look at the big number, but it really is, it's a campaign of individual impact that is combining into a collective kind of huge impact across the city. One of the things I really, really, really love about our campaign is that we also provide a platform for peer fundraising. And so what peer fundraising is it's very similar to, like, if you have children, if you've ever had nieces or nephews or anybody that's like been in a youth sports or youth music or any kind of situation like that. It's you create a profile. So I would say for Long Beach Gives, I absolutely love Long Beach Gives. I'm born and raised in the city of Long Beach. I want to make the city a better place. That would be what I write in my profile. I would then be able to very easily share that profile out to all of my friends and family. And because they love me, they also love Long Beach to at least some degree. And so they get to have that in front of them and they can support and contribute. And even if it's, a $5 contribution, it helps because it's providing a platform for these nonprofits to really be in front of new audiences and in front of people that have a much higher likelihood of being a returning donor and wanting to contribute to the success of that nonprofit.
That is such a critical part of the campaign. And I think, I'm looking at some of your statistics, and over time, some of the years have had over 1,000 individual peer fundraisers raising money for each of those nonprofits participating, sharing the message, but of their success and of the impact of the nonprofits to help raise funds. So people out there, if you're interested in helping to fundraise, you can sign up now as a fundraiser for any of the participating nonprofits. And where do they do that, Matt?
longbeachgives.org. And if you go through that search and you can find the organization, if you know one, you can just search for their name. If you are interested in getting involved and you don't have a nonprofit that you're already engaging with or volunteering for, you can use our search filters and really kind of hone in on the exact nonprofit that's the right fit for what you want to see in our city, and very easily on that page just sign up.
That's great. And so I know that signing up as a peer fundraiser is one way to help support the campaign. And earlier you mentioned the capacity building for organizations. And I think that that's one of the most unique parts about Long Beach Gives, other than being in Long Beach and being such a small and large town at the same time, is that we provide a lot of resources as Long Beach Gives for these organizations. So I know you're in the middle of all of that. There's one coming up tomorrow, but how do you set the nonprofits up for success during Long Beach Gives?
Yeah, and this is so as a general rule of thumb, we're big believers in not reinventing the wheel. And so we are able to contract with an incredible capacity building nonprofit here locally, the Nonprofit Partnership. And we're able to, we recognize, and our founders recognize, hey, we have an organization, we have a nonprofit in the city that is driving growth and capacity building in our sector, rather than us trying to do that ourselves and then potentially create conflicts and take away. Why don't we elevate a nonprofit that is doing this incredibly well, contract with them, and then that way we know, hey, the trainers that we're using, the people that we're bringing in to teach the elements of our campaign, we know that they're going to be top notch. We know that they're going to be nationally accredited. Like, they're the best in the business, and we know that because we're working with a business that is vetting that, and a nonprofit that's kind of been doing that very successfully for 30 years.
So what type of resources, and I'll let you answer this question because you do help develop those resources as the campaign manager. So what are those resources that nonprofits are getting?
Yeah, so every nonprofit has access to a host of digital assets that they can utilize to not only create like a marketing campaign for Long Beach Gives, but also to be able to utilize for their own future campaigns and efforts. So we're not just providing those assets, we're also providing training around how to utilize those assets, how to set up a free Canva account for nonprofits. Canva is a design, it's a web-based design platform, so it makes it easy to do graphic design work. So we look at ways for nonprofits to tell their stories, show their stories, highlight the impact that they're doing. And we provide that with a lot of training. I think traditionally have done about 20 or so hours of free professional development for all of the participating nonprofits. It's a little bit more this year because we've moved to a new kind of training platform rather than having exclusively like the live virtual trainings, which is what we pivoted to during the pandemic, as everyone did. What we've done this year is really develop a training library. So we're still bringing in those professionals, those experts in their field to consult, but rather than a 2-hour training, what we're doing is we're breaking those into bite-sized little snippets and saying, hey, we understand that coming out of the pandemic, the reality is that the nonprofit sector did more than it ever has before during the last few years. And in looking at that, we're also looking at bandwidth issues and capacity issues within nonprofit teams. And so we wanted to find a way to still provide the same level and quantity and like quality of training with a little bit easier lift. So we created this training library. We've created playlists so that people can kind of move at their own pace through the training material. And then they also have access to me and to our team here to try and get as much support as they need. And they have, we can bounce ideas off of each other. We're happy to be thought partners. We're happy to, do whatever we can to support the success of the nonprofits that are participating.
Awesome. And that is something that I know when the Long Beach Gives was started was really critical, is just trying to set nonprofits up for success outside of just that 1 week in September. And so I know I even spoke to a nonprofit today that was so grateful for all the support and the resources and the very specific templates to use so that they can get their campaign started, because it was their first year as an individual with an organization promoting Long Beach Gives. And so I'm looking forward to seeing all of that marketing hit, the social media, the internet, the emails, the billboards, all the places in the next couple weeks, because it's a few weeks away in September. This is evergreen though, so it might be next year's campaign. So talking a little bit about that, what does the future hold for Long Beach Gives? What are we looking forward to this September and beyond?
So this September, so this is the most engaged the entire city has been leading up to it. We have last year, we made some really great inroads with the city of Long Beach itself and also with the Port and the Harbor Commission. We had the bridge lit up. We had City Hall was lit up red. This year, we're going to have those as well. And, we're working to try and speak in front of council. We have some of our council members are actually contributing to the professional development for the nonprofits. So we're really, I think, making we're building bridges across the 3 sectors in our city, right? And I think we've been able to really effectively do that this year. And I'm really excited for September, because I think we're going to see some pretty cool synergy and some magic kind of happening that's going to be really exciting.
Great. And we'll have that to build on for the next year. And so that's exciting. I know every year the number of nonprofits have grown.
Yep.
And so tell us one more time, how can the community get involved in this year's campaign in September, and where can more information about Long Beach Gives be found?
Yeah. So just longbeachgives.org, and I'll say it a few times throughout this. But there's really, you kind of get to choose as a person living in Long Beach or working in Long Beach, or that enjoys driving through Long Beach on your way to and from work, whatever it is, however you're engaging with the city. You can really get involved in a number of ways. You can directly support and provide donations to nonprofits. The minimum donation is $5. And like I said, it's about getting in there and being supportive and showing as a community that we care about and support what our nonprofits are doing. You can also sign up as a peer fundraiser. And again, that's if you have a very specific calling in life and you have a cause that really resonates with you, you can search and filter that way. If you want to give to a nonprofit that is directly serving the council district that you live in, you can filter by that way. Or if you're already involved with and volunteering or donating or even working for a nonprofit, You can very easily just go to that nonprofit's page on longbeachgives.org and just sign up as a peer fundraiser. And it's easy. It takes about 2, maybe 3 minutes. And it's a great way to really help grow the sustainability of a nonprofit or a mission or a cause that you really care about. It's a great way to help kind of future-proof against, uncertainty in economic times, pandemics, all of those things, right?
Mhm. And we look forward to a successful campaign and supporting all those organizations. And I know we're on social media right now. So you're at Long Beach Gives on every platform that you could be a part of. And the website is an easy way to find that information. Finally, back to you as an individual, and something we ask our leaders, because the work is never over and there's always something more to give, like Long Beach Gives. But what do you do for self-care? What's one thing that you do to unwind, to make space so that you can continue to give back to the community?
Yeah, I thank you for that. I ride my motorcycle or I drive. So the road is kind of my happy place. It's an easy way for me to very quickly be present. And kind of get into that like meditative state. And motorcycling, that's the kind of my key personal way. And then I love going on drives with my wife, and we love kind of exploring our city. We check out the different neighborhoods, we go to all the different little shops, and just kind of explore. And it's a big enough city that it feels like every time we go out for a drive, I get to see something new, even though I've lived here almost my entire life.
Mhm. So if you come to the Long Beach Gives office and there's a motorcycle in the parking lot, it's likely to be Matt's.
There's a couple other folks in
Great.
the building that drive that ride.
Well, thank you so much. Long Beach Gives is amazing, and I can't believe it's coming up again for the 5th time, and it's such a good opportunity. We would love more people to be involved in the community. So thank you for coming on to Our Stories, Our Time to help get more people involved and spread awareness. And I just appreciate your time today. And thank you for all of your hard work getting everybody ready for Long Beach Gives. I know it's crunch time, so thank you for joining us before, we have a month out.
And thank you for providing such an incredible platform for 30 years. And congratulations on 30 years.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for all of those who are watching and watching in the future. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Goodbye.